Hi guys, my name's Laura. My husband and I have been working on a home project and we thought you guys could benefit from the knowledge we've gained. We had a very nice patio set with 6 chairs that had damaged seats, and rather than purchase new chairs at a high price, we wanted to replace the chair slings. I went online, found a manufacturer, followed their instructions on how to measure for a sling, ordered them. When they arrived, I disassembled the chairs. These are the new ones, but I disassembled the chairs, so we took them apart. This is what our chair looks like. It's a nice chair. Has those components. And then we had to get the old sling out. In the case of ours, the spline, which is the piece that goes in the rail, was very damaged and it was not easily coming out. So I had to cut down the center to separate these two pieces, and then I had to run a little oil down the rail by the spline to make it a little moister, and then I took the fabric back and forth, and then we were able to pull them out. It did take 2 of us on some of them because it was rather difficult. And then once we got them out, I went ahead and spray painted the entire set so it looks brand new when the new ones are assembled. Once we received the new slings, we went ahead and started to install them. They're not necessarily super easy, but when you have the empty rail, I do recommend that you maybe use a Q-tip to go down the rail and clean out any old junk from broken spline or anything else. And then before assembling the new sling into the rail here, I went ahead and dipped a Q-tip. I used coconut oil. You could use any lubricant you have. And I just ran the Q-tip up and down the track to help it slide in. Then the other thing we learned was that due to the curvature, it's a little difficult to get the fabric stretched. So we did go ahead and, when this was in 2 pieces, clamped this on here so that we could use 2 hands, and I pushed and my husband pulled, and that's how we got them through pretty easily at that point. Okay. Once we got them together, we have all the slings in a pile. Then we had to, on our chairs, due to this extra support, we have to assemble this to the sling prior to mounting it to the chair. Now in our case, these slings were very tight and it was too narrow, so it wasn't easy to just pop it in. So what we ended up having to do is create a method of expanding the sling so that we could get the chair in. And I'm gonna let my husband Eric explain that part of the process to you.
Okay, I'm going to step in and I'm going to show you guys how to add these supports. These are supports that go underneath the chair sling. There's actually an upper piece, and then there's this main body piece. And what the problem is these become very taut. Here's a couple that I've already done and added to them. You can see how taut it is, and this is probably the most difficult part, is getting these spread apart. You can see that the supports are in the back right here right now. I was able to get this down to a 1-person job, and through some research on the internet, discussion sites, forums, we were able to come up with some homemade tools. Let me show you the tools first before I go through this. The tools that we have here are these little homemade spreaders. These are 2x4s with hinges. These hinges are actually door frame hinges. I had some extra ones, so I was able to grab these from down our basement. If not, you can go to a store and purchase them, or if you want to, just take off your basement door and borrow them is an option right there. So what we did is we measured the distance from this point to this point, from side to side. We measured it at all different points to make sure we got the exact measurement that we needed. And this needs to be pretty much exact. You don't want it too much or too little, because it is very difficult to separate these, and you don't want to separate them too much at the same time. So, using my trusty workbench here to put my stuff. These granite tables are nice for all kinds of stuff. I'm going to put one together and show you how these spreaders work. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the bottom support, or the top support I should say, which is just one bar. In this particular case, with this particular chair, this is the top support. All chairs may not have these, and your supports may be different. But what I'm first going to do is I'm actually going to spread this first before I even put anything in. You can see that it's a little bit difficult. Sometimes you may even have to step on it. But I'm kind of gentle when I'm doing this. And this will require a step. Okay. So this right here, it's giving me some stretch, and you can see that the tension's in there. You got to be careful with these popping back up. But now that I've stretched this, at this point right here, I can go in and put this bottom support in. I'm just going to put this further down so I can get it in between. It should be easier this time. So I've already pre-stretched it. I'm going to put this in here. Okay, so that's in. Now the next step is we're going to put the seat frame. This is a seat frame support, and you need to find out which ends. And the most difficult part of this is lining your holes, these two holes, with these inner holes right in here. So what I'm going to do first is do another pre-stretch. I'm going to do that down here at this base. Okay, gonna line this up. I'm trying to keep it off the fabric too, so it doesn't bind down there. And this will also require me to step on it. I'm just kind of slowly doing it, and there we go. That's a good pre-stretch. All right, now I'm gonna pop that back up. I'm gonna scoot it down a little bit. Try to make these holes right here with these inner holes right here. And you can see the inner holes because they set out, oh, maybe about a 32nd or 16th of an inch. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it right now to give me an idea on how far out to go with it. Notice also a hammer. You need a hammer for all projects. Okay, I'm going to pop that back up a little bit more. Make sure I get a good bite. By the way, this is the only way, unless you have some professional tools, to get these in. Okay, so that's one end. Now I'm going to do the other end with my second homemade expander. And this will go easier because we've already pre-stretched down here, so this will go a little bit easier. I shouldn't have to step on it. And actually, this one's a tad bit shorter by about a quarter inch, half inch. Okay, so now I'm able to set this in here. You can see it going through. Now is when the hammer comes in play. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this to set in here. You could use a rubber mallet. I just don't want to go downstairs and get it, to tell you the truth. my spread just popped out, but that's okay because I have it wedged in there, but I'm going to set it in there just as a backup. So we're going to go back and forth working this in. And my first objective is to get these screws in here at the top of the chair. And I can see my hole alignment in here. Once you get these located, you'll be through most of your battle. We may be pretty close. Let me grab a couple screws here. I can tell that I'm off still. Okay, let's see. We got any closer? Okay. This one, with this one to give me a little bit more spread, because like I said, this is about a 1/2 inch wider. This should stay in place because I have it down in here. We're going to line up these top screws. I'm just kind of giving a little bit of attention to this. Notice I'm going back and forth to get this in here. All right, we may have this. Slightly snug it down. Pull this up. We're done. Ready to be assembled.